And once our reducer is ready to go, let's dispatch our first action, which is going to be display alert. And we'll see that in our register, if we try to submit the form and one of the values is empty. And we'll start with actions, where we'll set up the variable and we'll set it equal to show alert. And if you're familiar with use reducer, you know that the reason why we use these variables is because that way we have less chance of making some kind of small typo. So this will be text, but this will be variable. And all throughout the application, we'll use the variable. Now, once we have set up our first action in the actions, then we want to set up the imports in reducer and app context. And these ones I won't display because they're very straightforward and pretty much will be repeating all the time. Then in the app context, we want to set up our first function, display alert. And here we'll dispatch it. We'll dispatch type display alert. And then in the reducer, let's handle that. Let's say if the action type is equal to display alert, then here's what we want to do. I want to return the current state. So remember, we always want to return the existing values, but we want to change the value for show alert. We'll actually set it equal to true. The alert type will be danger. And then as far as the alert text, we'll go with please provide all values. And then before we do anything in the register, what I want to do is go to a alert component. And remember, I said that in the beginning, we'll be hard coding that. We'll go with alert and then alert success or danger or whatever. Now, in this case, since we have those values already in the state in our global context, here's what we can do. We can import our hook. So use app context. We can look for both things, the alert type and alert text. And then we can make this dynamic where it's going to be alert type, whatever it is, whether that's danger or success. So it's going to be controlled over here. And then whatever text we pass in, which again is going to be controlled once we set up that action. So first, let me go to actions and I want to set up that variable. So I'm going to go here with export right away, export const, and I'm going to call this display underscore and alert. And as far as the value, it's going to be show alert. And again, the convention is using all uppercase, but technically you don't have to. So once I have this in place, then I want to set up my imports in the app context as well as the reducer. And I'll first start in reducer and then we'll use app context. So let's go here with import. Now we're looking for display alert, and that is coming from the actions, correct? And let's right away set it up in the app context as well. So in this case, I'm going to do it below the reducer. Again, doesn't really matter. And as far as the reducer, well, let's just handle that action right away, correct? Let's say that if the action type is going to be display alert, so if the type is equal to display alert, what do we want to do? Well, we want to first return the state as it is, basically return the current values, but then modify the show alert one. And then let's set that one equal to true. Then let's also change the alert and then type. Now that one will be equal to a danger in this case, because we'll be displaying that not all the values have been provided. And then we want to go with alert text. And let's just say, please provide all values. And let's add exclamation point. So let's save this one. That's going to be our reducer. And now in the app context, we want to set up the function, correct? So let's scroll down where we have the state. And above our return, we want to go with const. And let's just set it up as a function display alert. And then inside of the function body, we want to go with dispatch. And then in here, we'll dispatch an object with a type of display alert. So when we're working with use reducer, we're passing in the object. And one thing that we must pass in is the type property. And then optionally, we can provide other properties. In our case, we'll stick with payload. So if we'll be providing some kind of value to the reducer, the one that we can use it later in the actual function, then we'll go with payload, but not for now. For now, we just pass in the object in dispatch, and type must be present, which of course, in this case it is. And then as far as our action, well, we're going with display alert. Now, I also want to right away add display alert here in the value. And I don't think I'm going to be adding this to the README. For me, that is kind of self-explanatory that each and every time we set up the function, we want to pass it down. So I'm just going to go with display alert. Now, if there are some functions that I don't want to pass in, then I'll explicitly say that. So let's pass here the display alert. Now we're not going to use it in this video. Most likely it's going to be the next one. But the last thing that I want to do in this video is navigate to my components. I'm looking for the alert. And now we can make this one dynamic. How do we do that? Well, first, we need to get our use app context. So we import that. And then what two values are we looking from the state? Well, alert type and alert text, correct? So let's set it equal to, let's say alert type, then alert text. So these are those dynamic values that will change depending on our actions, the ones that we're dispatching. And now we need to write it a little bit differently, where now we want to set it up, first of all, this one as a curly braces. And then inside of it, we're going to go here with a template string because we'll go with alert. So that's the main class. But the one that controls the colors is this one. And then instead of alert hyphen and then hard-coded danger or success, we'll go here with alert and then type. So you can already put two and two together, where if in a state this is going to be danger, then the same is going to go for the color. So if it's success, then of course it's going to be opposite. And instead of hard coding this text, what we're going to do is just access the alert text, and pretty much we're good to go. So now every time we'll use the alert component somewhere else in our application, the values will be provided from the global context.